Hi guys, welcome to this video tutorial on ASP.NET Core 2.1 creating an image gallery. In the last video tutorial, we finished coding few methods in our custom.js file, which included the completion of our preview files method as well as dynamically creating a preview table to view all the selected images that the user wants to upload. In this video tutorial, I will explain the step-by-step process to create the preview functionality. So the first thing that we want to do is go ahead and run our application. So let's do that. So our application is running. Now we want to open our inspect tab on the side so that we can see what happens when an event fires. Now let's go to our index.cs HTML file. Go to the input element with ID files and scroll at the end where you will see an onChange event that is being attached to this element. What is an onChange event and what does it do? For those who are not familiar with basics of JavaScript, the onChange event executes a JavaScript code when a user changes the selected option. But in our case, the selected option is the file. So whenever the user selects an image file, the onChange event will call the preview file method. For example, if the user has selected one file, so the onChange event will be called once, but the user selects 10 files, so the onChange event will be fired 10 times. That means the preview file methods would be called 10 times as well. So every time the option or the file is selected, the onChange event will fire. And to know more about onChange event, you can always go to the best place to learn about HTML. It is W3 Schools, and you will have a lot of information there. But these are basics of JavaScript, and I assume most of you who are watching this video tutorial already know what an onChange event does. So let's jump on to the preview file method explanation. So in the preview files method, the first thing that you want to do is go ahead and create a variable called as files, which will store all the files that are being uploaded by the users. The second thing that you want to do is when the files are being stored in this variable, you want to read and preview the files so that the users can edit the image caption. So I have created a method called as read and preview. I'm passing a single file from the file object and then reading that file. First thing that I will verify on the file is the file name. If the file name matches my criteria, and for that, I'm using regular expression to verify if the extension is within JPEG, PNG, or GIF. And if it does not match, then I'm not going to add the file to my preview. The second thing that I have done here is I've created an object of file reader. File reader is an API that is available to us under HTML5 browser. More information about file reader can be found on MDN Web Docs. I have used the code that is provided by MDN Web Docs to read files. I have modified the code as per my requirement. What I have done here is I wanted to read the files, but I wanted to display the files within a table. So I am dynamically creating a table that can display all selected files. And to dynamically create a table, what I'm doing here is I'm calling a method called as add image row. What does this add image row method do? It basically checks if my table consists any body tags. And if it does not contain any body tags, it will create a table body tag for me. And then within those body tags, I will append my table rows. To append my table rows, I'm writing a method called as build image table row. And what I'm passing in that parameter is an image, single image that I need to add to each row. Within my build image table row, I have a variable called as new row. Within this new row, I have assigned some HTML code. Since I cannot assign HTML code in HTML format to this variable, I have to assign it as a string. So I first wrote the HTML code on a text pad and then I assigned it to my variable by using the concatenating symbol, which is the plus sign to concatenate strings. The next thing that I'm going to do is, after I have dynamically created the image row, is count the number of images in the preview. And to count the number of images in the preview, all I have to do is count the number of rows. Therefore, I've written a method called as countTableRow. And the countTableRow method will count the number of rows and display it on the button. Finally, after the image row has been counted, the next thing that I want to do is I want to push each image from the preview to my empty image object array that I created initially. So if you remember, when I created these objects, I clearly mentioned to you that the first array at index position 0 will contain all images. Therefore, let me demonstrate to you what exactly I was referring to. When I type in console.log method on form objects, which is my array, as we all know, we have initialized the array to an empty array, which means it contains two arrays, but it's empty. Now what I want to do is I want to run the preview files method, which is executed when we select all our files. And as you see that I can see the preview. Now, when the preview file method executes, it is going to push all the files to the form object array at index position 0. Now let's once again call the console.log method. And if you see, we have three elements within it. These three elements are the three images that we selected to preview. So now what we are doing is, finally we are going to call the reader.readAsData URL method. The readAsData URL method will help you to read the files, the contents of the file. As I told you that I have modified this code so that I can preview the images in the table instead of just thumbnails. To get more information on readAsData URL, please refer to MDN docs. Once our files have been stored in the files variable, after we have edited them, we are going to run the for each loop on each file and call the read and preview method. Now, some point the user decides that he wants to delete a preview. So he can click the delete button, which is the last column in our table row. And in the last column, I have created a button group using Bootstrap. And I have attached an event, which is onClick, and the onClick event calls the remove file method. All the method does is it's going to delete the row that was clicked. So I've used some great jQuery to get the row that was clicked. Also, I want to make sure that when the row is deleted, also the images and the caption associated with those images in my form objects also are deleted. So I've also made sure that I use the .splice method. In order to delete elements from an array, you can call the .splice method. All you have to specify the element's index and the number of items that you want to delete. And to get the elements index, all we have to do is to get the index of the row. So let's click this delete button, and as you see, that specific row has been deleted. Now let's go ahead and click console.log to make sure that it was also deleted from our form objects. And as you see, we just have two elements left in our array. Now, what else we want to do is we want to also make sure that when somebody doesn't want to clear single but all the previews, we have a button there. So we had created a clear preview button. So when it's clicked, we make sure that all the preview is deleted, and also the number of images that was selected, the count is turned to 0. So we have written a clear preview method for that. So I think that's it for this particular JavaScript explanation of what exactly is happening here. Finally, we are going to just submit the form and submit all the data to our database. In the next video tutorial, we will test the submission of our data with images in our database. And I will switch on my server so we can test it on the server. Please like and subscribe my channel Tech Howdy. Thank you.